Alrighty, so to finish off this module, what we're going to be talking about is just some scenarios. So first off, I'm going to describe the 3 different communication styles: passive, aggressive, and assertive, using the same example. So in this situation, let's say that you're going to your boss and asking for a raise. So this is what that would look like if you were using passive communication style. Hi boss, can I talk to you for a minute? If you can't talk, that's all right. It's okay. Yeah, so I was thinking, and I know I probably don't deserve it yet, but I would really like it if I could have a raise. I know I probably don't deserve it, and it was dumb for me to even ask, but that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry for asking, but that's what I wanted. So in that style, you could tell I was very unsure of myself. I was jittery. I was walking around. I was picking at my hands. I wasn't showing confidence. I wasn't making eye contact. I wasn't firm and direct, and I was constantly worried about what their opinions are, their thoughts, and not respecting my own. So now the same situation, but aggressively. Hi boss, I've been working at this place for a bit now, and I deserve a raise. I know that I am the best worker here, and if you don't give me a raise, then I am going to make this workplace a living hell. So in that scenario, you can tell the person is a little bit more aggressive. They're telling people what should happen and are threatening if they don't get the way that they want. They're not making it about the employer at all. They're making it entirely about them and doing it through threats and being loud, bombastic, and you can tell that their posture is a little bit more upright and in their face. And finally, what this might look like if you're using an assertive communication style. Hi boss, can we talk for a minute? So I've been working here for a while now, and I think that the quality of my work and the effort that I've been putting forward is deserving that of a raise. And I really think that at this time, if you were giving me a raise, I'll be a much better employee because I'll feel like my work is valued, and that'll allow me to be more productive and efficient in the workplace. So in that scenario, I was confident, I made contact, but I wasn't yelling, I wasn't screaming, I wasn't making threats. But I also said why it would be beneficial for me, but also beneficial for the employer as well. So it showed both sides, and it showed respect for yourself and for the person you're communicating with. Alright, so next we're going to do a Dear Man situation. I'm primarily going to focus on the dear part of Dear Man. And so the situation that we're going to talk about is you have a roommate, you've come home, and the dishes are dirty all the time. It feels like you are the only one who does the dishes in this relationship, and it was something that you agreed upon that you would both clean up the house equally. Hey Mike, can we talk for a minute? Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the dishes. When we first moved in, we agreed that we would both equally take care of the house chores, and I feel like every time I come home from work, I have to do the dishes. And when I'm the only one that does the dishes, it makes me feel like I'm underappreciated as a roommate and that I am being taken advantage of. Ideally, like to happen is maybe we can make a schedule where we pick the days that each of us will do the dishes and make sure that we get it done on those days. I think if we do that, it'll make us have a better relationship as roommates. I think it'll make it easier for us to have the house cleaner, and we'll probably feel better because the house isn't dirty with dishes all over the place all the time. So that was a great example of Dear Man. I described what the situation was. I expressed how it made me feel using I statements. I asserted what I wanted to have happen and reinforced why doing that is beneficial for both me and the person I'm communicating with. So that's the Dear Man script. Really think about that every time you're trying to have a conversation that might be difficult. It is a great blueprint for having productive, assertive conversations. And finally, I'm just going to do a quick scenario on how to set boundaries. So in this situation, let's say that you're going to a family dinner and Uncle Bill is there. And Uncle Bill has the opposite opinion of COVID than you. And every time that you're there, you end up talking about it and getting in this huge argument that ruins the whole day. So you arrive, and either you can do this when you first get there, take Uncle Bill aside, or wait, or if it comes up, address it then. So Uncle Bill starts getting into the conversation about COVID, and you just say, hey, I know we've talked about this before, I understand we have different points of view on it, but I really don't want to talk about this right now, I'm just here to have dinner with the family. That's the first time he brings it up. The second time he brings it up, say, you know what, Uncle Bill, I set my boundary, I said this is something I don't want to talk about. If you continue to push this topic, I will leave. So you've, again, reinforced what it is that you want to have happen, and you've addressed a consequence that will happen if it continues. So you said, I don't want to talk about it, and I will leave if you continue to talk about it. When it brings up the third time, leave. I know that's a difficult thing to say, and it's not going to work in every situation, but you want to gain respect. If you want to live in a world and do things that serve you, not serve other people, you have to be willing to set boundaries. And if people don't want to follow those boundaries, there's going to be consequences. They're not going to be in your life. And that's a difficult thing to do. But if there's situations that keep coming up, you have to make that decision. Are you going to live miserably? Are you going to live having other people dictate what is best for you? Or are you going to live what's best for you? So find where your boundary is. Make sure people are aware of that boundary, because that's another thing, is you can't expect people to know where this line is. You have to tell it to them, and then let them know if they cross this boundary, there's going to be consequences, and that consequence is going to be you leaving. Don't make the consequence something aggressive. Don't say, well, if you bring this up again, I'm going to fight, because that's using an aggressive communication style, and we know that doesn't get you anywhere. So you have to communicate assertively. And assertively is setting that boundary and having consequences for stepping over that boundary.